A very good evening and thanks for clicking on to the Monday edition of Vogan's European Outlook, looking at the latest visible satellite imagery from today. And you can see here the latest area of low pressure that affect the UK, helping extend rain totals percentage above normal beyond 300% of normal rainfall across parts of Wales. Bala, for example, over 200 millimetres of rain so far this month. And now Wales is talking about its wettest May on record. Of course, in stark contrast to one of the driest Aprils on record. So the extremes is very, very distinct and very noteworthy as we press towards the latter half of May. And I'll talk more about temperature in just a wee second. But the latest area of low pressure, we've got the main frontal boundary now pushing into Europe. A nice hook of cloud, or not really nice, in fact, if you were stuck underneath it today. But that was bringing some pretty strong northerly winds and heavy wind-driven rain through the north of Scotland. So through Inverness, for example, up across Sutherland, Caithness, extending further south of Inverness as well. We've seen some very heavy and persistent rain, and that was leading to some localised flooding conditions as well. This was a shot I took this afternoon, 5 degrees, 1:30 p.m, and very nasty conditions as well. Fresh snow, as you can see, 2,500 feet. So just a absolutely miserable day, that's for sure. Thankfully, as we go towards the latter half of this week, we are going to start to see things calming down and indeed warming up. Now, the latest area of low pressure, as you can see here off the latest GFS, is actually, as of tomorrow morning, Tuesday, centred just on the north shore of the Netherlands here. We do have a continued feed of shower activity and a fairly slack northerly wind flow coming down from the north. So it's still going to be a kind of showery day tomorrow, but we are going to thankfully start to see temperatures slightly increase. For example, Glasgow today, 10 degrees. We'll probably see 6 degrees on that tomorrow, so 16, maybe 17 degrees in Glasgow during the course of tomorrow. But as we skip through, we still have the shower activity through the course of Tuesday. Notice here that we continue to see our flow coming in from the north, and then we've got another frontal boundary coming in from the west, coming in from the Atlantic here. That as it starts to creep towards the UK, we're going to start to see more increase in sunshine, less shower activity, and the temperatures will start to creep up. We may even knock on the door 20 Celsius across Scotland and even across southern portions of the British Isles. And then as we press through towards the bank holiday weekend, we're going to see the frontal boundary just try and edge its way into Scotland. It's going to have a little bit of resistance. We've got an area of high pressure over the North Sea, as you can see here. But as we start to see this configuration, low pressure to the north, a very weak area of low pressure, if you notice here, 1026 millibars. Then we've got an area of high pressure, 2 millibars higher. It's hardly worth calling that an area of low pressure. But what that's going to do is we're going to start to see skies clear out more and more as we push through the bank holiday weekend. And we're going to start to see the temperature respond with that lack of cloud cover. So we should start to see temperatures edge to 20, possibly 21 Celsius, even across Scotland as well as across southern portions of England. And then as we continue to skip through the sequence, this is through the second half of the bank holiday weekend. High pressure is in control, but notice the position of this high. We've not got high pressure to the east and low pressure to the west, allowing our air coming up from the south. We've got more of a kind of stagnant high pressure system, a relatively cool area of high pressure as well, parked over the British Isles through the course of the bank holiday weekend. So therefore, we should see fairly cool nights, might even see some rural frost away from towns and cities, but then with strong late May sunshine, we should start to see temperatures respond pretty quickly once the sun comes up. So we're going to see that little diurnal fluctuation between cool nights and warm, pleasant days. The temperature by no means is going to be particularly hot for the time of the year. This day, 9 years ago, the temperature in Glasgow had 27 Celsius. And so far in Scotland, we've not reached 20 Celsius. And that's the first time we've got to this stage in the year without hitting 20 degrees since 1983. But we are going to at least crack 20 degrees in the coming days here. So that 1983 record, it looks as if it's going to remain intact, because we should see a 20 before the 2nd of June. If we get past the 2nd of June without going above 20 degrees, then you would have to go back well over 50 years for the last time we've seen that happen, where we didn't see 20 even into the beginning of June. But it looks as if high pressure will try and hang on. We've got a little bit more Scandinavian high pressure, so we're going to pick up winds from the continent and extend westwards towards the British Isles here. So that is by no means a particularly warm pattern. And speaking of warm pattern, as we look through the GFS, this is upcoming 5 days off the GFS ensemble. The mean temperatures look this here. But as you can see here, the 6 to 10, we see the response of that high pressure sitting directly overhead. You notice here that the warmest values compared to normal are across Scotland, where we may see temperatures even creep into the low 20s. But I think it might be hard to try and get much beyond 21, possibly 22 degrees across southern portions of Britain. And the reason for that is because of the position of that area of high pressure. So we'll just kind of watch this space. But as you notice here, as we go towards the 11 to 15 day period, that we start to lose the above normal temperatures and may start to revert back towards average, even possibly slightly below average. And it comes to the reason that we've got an area of high pressure that builds over Scandinavia, and therefore we may see cooler conditions return across the UK. Finally, Arctic oscillation. Now, if you're wanting to have heat across the UK, you would expect the Arctic oscillation to be positive. In actual fact, it's slightly positive at the moment, but it's expected to go neutral. And then there's actually, if you notice here, the majority of these lines represent slightly negative in terms of the Arctic oscillation. And in terms of the North Atlantic oscillation, we go either way. So we go to neutral, it could go into positive, but it also equally could go into negative. If the Arctic oscillation and the North Atlantic oscillation tries to go negative, that would indicate that we may hold on to the cooler than normal theme. So that will be something worth watching. Looking at the sea surface temperatures, of course, in response to the cool weather that we've seen, we've got comfortably below normal water temperatures across the UK, and this could have a significant impact on the air temperature across the British Isles during the first half of the summer, especially if we happen to get winds coming in off the Atlantic. That could have significant impact on a lack of warming, if you will, across the UK. Looking at the global temperatures generally, Western Indian Ocean, cooler than normal. In the Eastern Indian Ocean, warmer than normal. A lot of warmth here, notice here across the Western Pacific Basin, and a tongue of warm extending from the North Central Pacific up towards Canada here. Notice here that we've got cooler than normal off California. We've still got some cooler than normal extending in the La Nina region here, cool in the Gulf of Mexico, and we've got a kind of warm over cool kind of tripole across the North Atlantic here. So that's it for today. Hope you have a great evening, and I'll be back in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.